Hi, my name's Suzanne and I run a business called Luminous Life. My business is set up to help people like yourself feel good about who you are and to make tangible changes in your life so that you can be living the life that you truly want to live from a very deep level. So what we're talking about today is how to love yourself by looking past the surface and trusting yourself. So one of the ways that we do that is to go deeper with our issues. So I'd like you to think about an area that you're currently struggling with. So an area where you know that you could be doing better, where you feel like you're not empowered to be the person that you really want to be, no matter how hard you try, or how strong your willpower is, you just don't seem to be getting where you want to be getting with this particular area. So let's say, for example, that you're worried about your weight, or maybe it's about money or self-worth. So what we want to do is look at the story that is around this. What is it that you're telling yourself? Now, using weight as an example, maybe you're telling yourself that you're too fat, that it's too hard to lose weight, that you've got a slow metabolism, that you haven't got the time to prepare the sorts of healthy food that you would like to prepare, that you can't afford the healthy ingredients that you would like. You might not have time to do the exercises that you think you need to do. You might need to do more exercise than you've got time for to make a dramatic difference to your weight, so then it's hard to even get started. So what we want to do is take these thoughts to another level, so that these thoughts are all very valid things and we don't want to dismiss them, but we also want to understand, why is it that we're stuck at this point? Why is it we're holding on to these? So these are the reasons that hold us back. But if we look at what's underneath that, we want to look at what we're really afraid of. So what we're really afraid of tends to be things that we don't really like about ourselves or wouldn't really want to know about ourselves. So we tend to hide them as well, which makes us that little bit more complicated. So, for example, you might have a fear that you're lazy. Maybe you feel as though you've got no self-control when it comes to sitting down at night and eating those chocolate biscuits. Maybe you feel like there's just no way that you can find that time, that no matter how hard you try, you still have to work, look after the kids, all those things. You might feel as though you've got an issue with food and not really know where it's come from or how to deal with it. So there are a lot of different things that can lead us to this point. Now what I'd like to do is take you even deeper. So, for example, if you think you're lazy, why is that? Why would you be lazy? Do you really think you're a lazy person? What's really going on underneath this? So, for example, if you're feeling lazy because you have a tendency to curl up on the couch rather than exercise, why is it that you're drawn to the couch rather than running outside? Why would you rather grab a bag of chips than make a salad, for example? The whys are really, really important, and I really want you to drill down into these. Really take them as deep as you possibly can. Think like a 5-year-old, right? Anyone who's got a 5-year-old around them will know that they're constantly asking why. Why this? Why that? Why does this happen? Why does that happen? I really want you to do this with yourself as well. All right? Now, it can feel overwhelming and scary, but it's really worth it. And if you think about it, it's got to be more worth it to spend half an hour doing this than it is to sit around feeling awful about yourself night after night. Alright, or going to bed at the end of every day thinking, oh, I still didn't get this thing done, or I'm still this way despite all the work I've been doing. Alright, so let's take a look at why you might be sitting around on the couch. So, are you feeling overwhelmed at the thought of making dinner after a long, stressful day at work? And you've got to come home, maybe deal with kids, deal with a partner, clean the house, maybe you don't have food in the house. Or even if all of that's there and it's fine, maybe the work that you're doing is just so overwhelming that you can't fit anything else into your head that day. Maybe you're embarrassed by the way you look and you don't want to be out running around the neighbourhood in your daggy old tracky pants. Maybe you can't afford new tracky pants. Maybe your image is really important to you, and that's okay. You want to be honest with how you're feeling and not judge the things that are underneath this, because judging that will make you want to hide them away, and then you're not going to get to the bottom of it, and you're just going to keep going round and round in this circle of dislike for yourself. So the moral of this is I really want you to think about what is it that is causing you to have the appearance of being lazy. And this is the point where I really want you to give yourself some credit. Because really, would you choose to be feeling overwhelmed at the end of your workday? Would you choose to be feeling exhausted, tired, embarrassed, unsupported? Now I know, and we all know, that we create the world that's around us with our thoughts, our actions, the energy that we put into living our lives. But this creation isn't based just on our conscious thought. So we can try to control it with willpower. We can try to think our way through things by being positive, by challenging our belief systems. But there's a lot more to it than that. A lot of this is created from what goes on a subconscious level. And this is where this drilling down is really, really important, because what you're doing is helping you to go deeper and look at what is in those underlying levels that you maybe haven't thought about before, that you haven't been consciously aware of before. So I know that you're not going to choose to feel overwhelmed. I know that you're not choosing to feel tired, exhausted, unable to do what you really want to do. And these are the things that we really struggle with, the innate beliefs that we have that give us the appearance of being lazy, the appearance of not having the willpower. So we do have control over how we respond to these feelings. And it's really important to own them rather than avoid them. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you want to look at why you're feeling so overwhelmed. So, for example, if it is overwhelmed that's causing you to sit on the couch rather than exercise, what situations are going on in your life that are making you feel so overwhelmed? What's triggering this overwhelm? There could be multiple things going on. It could be an issue around work, could be an issue with a partner, with kids. It could be going through grief process. It can be post-traumatic stress disorder. It can be things that go back to childhood. Many of these things are things that you may not even realise are having an impact in this way on your day-to-day life. So you really want to have a look at what is underlying the feelings that are there. Now, where you do feel capable of addressing the things that are causing you overwhelm, then I want you to go out and do that. Deal with the underlying cause rather than sitting around beating up on yourself because you're feeling fat. Where you don't feel capable, then that's where you need to start looking at other solutions. So let's say, for example, I'm feeling overwhelmed because I'm trying to juggle my children, my partner, my business, bringing in enough money to be able to support all of us. I don't have any support for myself. I'm not getting time to exercise. I'm having trouble saying no to my customers because I really need that money coming in. So, again, using that as an example, I want you to take this even deeper now. So have a look at what are you getting out of this situation. If you weren't getting anything out of it, you would have made changes by now. So let's think about some of the things you could be getting out of that really normal and understandable situation. Now, it could be something like, well, I get to feel important. I get to feel needed by my customers. I get to know that I'm contributing to my household finances. I get to feel like a good parent because I'm spending time with my kids. Often the reasons that we have are really, really valid, and that is really important as well. But what we want to look at is what's not valid, or what can we do in a different way. So, for example, if I'm creating a situation where I can't say no to my customers because I need to feel as though I'm bringing in and contributing to the household, you want to look really honestly at that. Is it more important to be bringing in this additional money than it is to be taking care of your health, for example? Or if it's kids, because kids can be time consuming. Is it really that important to spend this amount of time with this child, particularly if you're not feeling it's quality time? Is that more important than spending a little bit of that time taking care of myself? What example am I setting for my kids? So there's a whole lot of things that you really need to take a close look at. And I want you to have a look at what do you really need and what can you get rid of. You'll probably find that there are things that you do want to hold on to. So spending time with kids, for example, is obviously really important. But it's looking at how you spend that time. What sort of example are you setting in never putting yourself first and in never exercising? Can you find a way to exercise with your kids? Set a good example, get that time for yourself, and still have the time with them. So there's always another way. And if you really want to be achieving this, then you will find that way. The only thing that I believe holds you back is that doubt, the fear, the unhappiness that we feel within ourselves. Because when you're feeling good, when you're feeling motivated, and when you're feeling happy, you will find a way. And you'll find that way in a way that is loving for yourself. So, go deeper. Look at what's really going on underneath. Don't take yourself at face value. Give yourself some credit and know that you're not lazy, you're not bored, you don't have a bad metabolism. It's not that you don't know the solution, it's that you need to give yourself the time to look at what's underneath, what you're afraid of, and how you can manage those things to create what you really want to create for yourself. So, look after yourself and trust yourself and love yourself for who you really are.